Nicks and Bruises, we are back. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. I got my guy DJ Shuttle in the building. What's good, Shuttle?
We all aboard on you know, on another night with the Knicks brought it home. You already know the vibes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is just a holdover, waiting for Sim to get home so we could do the post game and the losers lounge and all that. But this game did have me tight. You know what I mean? Knicks playing with their food, almost choked. My
Nah,
mom
man,
always told me, "Don't play with your food. You gonna choke," and it stands true, man. But
that third
luckily, they
quarter,
pulled it away.
that third quarter was very disappointing, and that end of the game execution up two, and Brunson lets them steal the ball. Very, very, very bad.
Facts. And the third quarters since that first OKC game where we was actually the best third quarter, we was the two best third quarter teams in the league. We've been having third quarter troubles since that first OKC game, and losses has piled up since then. And you know what I mean. Luckily we bounced back, second bounce back now, but it's not, what I mean, it's not looking encouraging. And there's a couple of things that you've been saying for a few days, what I mean, maybe about a week or a few weeks, maybe.
A few weeks, a
You know what
few
I mean?
weeks.
That I just want to give you the floor and talk about and kind of analyze. And yeah, shout out to the chat. Like I said, appreciate y'all joining me. This is just a holdover till Sim gets home. But yeah, man, would you text me a couple weeks ago? And
Uh,
I definitely had to keep an eye out for it.
hey, listen. I told you, your boy Brunson is dribbling the ball too much. And I mean, listen, there was a time when, you know, I said in the past, like, listen, he's shooting over 50%, so yeah, I don't mind him taking as many shots as he take. And I still don't mind him taking the most shots if that's what it calls for. But I think Bridges, Hart, Cat, OG, like you got enough offensive players to move the ball better. And like I said a couple of days ago, he's starting to reach the Luca LeBron dribble count on the offense every possession, and it's starting to be too much. Even last year there was a lot of fluidity, even with Randall out when we had Hardenstein in there, OG in there. There was fluidity. Devo, there was a lot of fluidity, and and now I'm just kind of feeling like you know it's like it's too Brunson dependent, and instead of looking for Bridges, I would really like Bridges. I would really like them to enable Bridges to initiate the offense more. Like, listen, yo, Bridges, you start running the show. Brunson plays well off the ball. And when you can start initiate the offense and then get it to him after he's kind of ran around some pigs and all of that, it's a different kind of groove versus having to bring the ball all the way up and then dribbling from one side, wait for the pick, dribble to the other side, and now you're waiting to make a move, and everybody's just kind of watching. It's not good. We got
I'll
you got to figure this out because in the playoffs, this is going to be too easy to stop because you're going to be playing against the elite teams, and what we saw against OKC is going to be more likely what happens than what we saw against a porous team that looks like they won't even make the play in Philadelphia.
Yeah, since you pointed it out to me, it's become more glaring. Like when you said it, I knew it, but I'm like, I didn't see it as a issue. You know what I mean? But once you said it and I'm looking at it a little bit more closely, I do feel like at times it's been a detriment. I am gonna shoot him some bail though, because he's in a tough position. This is where he was last year for this team, right? And if you look at where he was last year from this team post Brunson, I agree. Initially, you know what I mean, the ball was still swinging around. iHeart definitely had a lot to do with helping the ball swing around. I think Cat helps us in that area as well, but it's still not fine tuned. So there is still like a grace period, you know what I mean, where they still, I know it's halfway through the season, but they still figuring it out. For Brunson, it's an adjustment for him. Now, I'm only saying Bell as far as like he has to adjust. I'm not saying I don't see what you're pointing out, because I definitely see it, and it's become more glaring, especially like tonight in particular. Now I'm looking for when he does it with the double teams, and tonight it was glaring again, especially second half. He's not getting off that ball quick enough. Somebody mentioned it the other night on Sim's show that Clyde pointed it out, and Clyde pointed it out about 3 times tonight. You know what I mean? In that second half, so it was like, wow, it's not even, you know what I mean? Like it's becoming repetitive in a single game from Clyde's analysts, and you know he don't usually do that. He might say it once or twice, but he said it like 4 times tonight. Um,
I've been saying it for 4 weeks.
nah, I feel you.
It's like, and I don't even want to come down on Brunson because he's been so clutch. He's like, he's a dependable guy. He still shoots a great percentage from the field. So, I just think that it's less about him doing it and more about you have to figure out a way to empower the other players and put them in position to where they're bringing the ball up, they're initiating the offense more. And I'm not talking about fast breaks. I'm talking about like half court offense. Like, sometimes just let Bridges bring it up, but Bridges has to tighten his handle and he has to want to do that too and not just only default to Brunson, which is kind of like what it feels like. How when CP3 is on a team, it's like everybody defaults to just letting him bring the ball up and
Mhm.
initiating the offense and running everything. You know what I mean? And it's like that's where the Knicks are now. It's like, all right, Brunson's our guy. He's our leader. He's gonna bring it up. He's gonna initiate the offense. He's gonna get the shot, or he's gonna give it to somebody whenever you know. But we got to diversify the offense to make it less predictable to the opponents. It's like the team is becoming a little too easy to defend. Is how I'm seeing it.
And by all means, when we give this critique, at least for me, I'm not saying he needs less shot attempts, because even in the midst of me critiquing what I saw in the fourth quarter, I think at the point where when I looked it up, he only had 20 shot attempts. You know what I mean? And he was shooting, like you said, a great percentage. So it's not the attempts. It's just really about getting off the ball faster, and I think it's funny because there was a few fans that were saying it last year in the midst of the Randall holding the ball too long. Like there was a lot of people saying both of them did it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's just a quick critique. What's good, Sim?
Was
I,
good, fellas. Was good.
I was just holding down the fort. You know what I mean? Till you got home,
Yeah.
and we
I
jump on
seen
the
it was
post
live,
game.
so I was like, I might as well jump in.
But it was just a quick conversation about Brunson um holding the ball too long,
Yeah.
not necessarily getting to his actions quick, and I think it's not hurting us to the point where we, you know what I mean, we're losing games, but it's hurting us to the point that we're not maximizing who we could be.
You can be.
What's your thoughts on that? And I know we've talked
Yeah.
about this a little bit
We talked
more and more the last couple of days.
right. Ever since the first loss to OKC when he hijacked the offense on the stretch of the game, right? Took 9 shots in the fourth quarter when Cat should have been featured in the fourth quarter because there was nothing they could do with Cat, right? I think it's definitely legit. You know, I think he feels maybe he feels some type of responsibility to be, you know, that guy. Or maybe he's just in the midst of learning how to be the leader, right? How to be the guy that can take over when it's necessary to take over. You know, how to be that guy. You know, because his journey is different than other superstars in the league, stars in the league, whatever you want to say. So maybe he's in the midst of that. But there are times when we see that the Knicks use everybody in the offense, right? And it looks, times when we got four guys score 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what this offense has the potential to be and what it should look like.
And to me, it should look like that. That's what should look like more consistently.
Right.
And then Brunson should have the moments. You know what I mean? The moments where he needs to turn it on and be that guy, as opposed to being that guy at all times.
Yeah.
But again, like I said a few minutes ago, we do got to shoot him some bail because it is a difficult spot to adjust to learn. You know what I mean? To kind of navigate through,
Right.
especially as you add more depth and add more help. But yeah,
And,
man.
and
I mean, that's the good.
I think Tibbs is the coach. He's the one that's got to make the change. He's got to make the call. If as the coach, if you allow it to happen, it's going to happen. It'll continue to happen. As the coach, you got to say, all right, we're not getting enough ball movement. We got too much on ball dribbling. You know what I mean? Let's do this. Boom, 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 boom.
Funny
Because
thing is, I think it's
players, and players are going to get into you'll go a stretch of 5 games where you get into you pick up a little habit, and that's what the coaches are there for, to say, hey, you're doing this. This is not what we need.
So
I was gonna say it's probably tough on Tibbs too, because he's one of those tendency guys too, right? Or
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like Brunson already proved it. So just the same way it's hard for Brunson to adjust or navigate through that. Like, all right, I don't have to do that all the time. It's probably hard for Tibbs to adjust to even telling him, all right, you don't got to do that all the time,
Right.
or
I
find your
see that.
spots better. What
you
was
know,
you gonna say, Shuttle?
yeah, and I was gonna say, Sim. One of the things I had mentioned along the lines of the coach is that I'd like to see Bridges initiate the offense some and bringing the ball up a little bit, and not have Brunson always bringing the ball
Right.
up court and initiating the offense, and give Brunson a chance to play off ball a little bit.
Right.
And I think that this is why we saw before the trade Quickly and Brunson play effective together, because Quickly could bring it up,
Right.
Brunson, and they could play off each other that way. And when you have only one guy who's the main ball handler bringing it up, it's easy to trap them and double team them near the
Mhm.
half court line, and it just takes the whole offense out of the feng shui. You know what I mean? You gotta have some diversity in how you manage the plays. Is like no different than football. Even if you can't have success running the ball, you still have to run it periodically, just for the threat of the run,
Keep
and
him
not
honest.
pass on every down. And it's like
Right.
sometimes you got to just take it out of Brunson's hands, just for the sake of having the other team know that it could go a different way.
Right.
It's becoming too predictable. Is what I was saying.
Yeah. Nah, no doubt about it. I agree with you 100%. You know?
Oh, at some point moving forward, one thing that I wouldn't mind us looking into is a a tall ball handler, a tall somebody who could play right alongside Brunson, but has like legit size, I'm thinking Kesper, is that his name from
Yeah,
Washington? Not him in particular, but that type of player.
right.
Um, I think that might help us a lot.
I'm trying to
But
bring Jamal. I'm trying to bring Jamal Crawford out of retirement.
I take him.
I mean,
Sure.
but this the
I know you ain't. I know you ain't feeling bringing Burks back, but I'll take him too,
Oh,
man.
but
why you bring that back up?
this was something that Tony, we had discussions about before the season with Julius Randle not being there, because Julius Randle was a guy who could initiate the offense,
Yeah,
and take the ball out of Brunson's hands, and right now this team really, we can try Mikal Bridges. We talked about that, right? We
yeah.
talked about how, at first I said he was a system guy, but I started to see him being able to create and do some things.
But
Right
even
now his creation is more looking to score himself, not really, facilitating for others, but I'm not going to say he can't do that.
even preseason though, we kind of projected that to be Mikel's role, and it hasn't really been that. If
Very
anything,
very
I,
underwhelming.
Josh Hart handles the ball the most in
Hmm.
that starting five, other than Brunson,
Right.
and unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, his primary first option on the pass is Brunson. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He'll find everybody. You know what I mean? But his
And
first look and
this
his last look is Brunson.
yeah, this is the thing when we talk about the depth that the Knicks lost. Like, you really did, because of the ability DiVincenzo could have the ball in his hands every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Randall could have the ball in his hands. We just don't have that right now.
And I know
Even if we use
Deuce.
McCall, I mean, if you use McCall, you got Josh Hart, but um, even then, you had Josh Hart that could do it too. There was just more guys
Mm-hmm.
that could initiate the offense.
Yeah.
And I know Deuce is not a ball handler like that. It has improved this year. I will say that. But even last year, but this year as well, his numbers have always been good, or the team numbers have always been good with Brunson and Deuce together. I don't know how much he helps that particular part, but if you look at the numbers of their minutes together over the duration of the time they've been together, it's always been good. So, I mean, I don't know if that correlates, but I mean, just throwing that out there.
Throughout the season, Cat has also been has passed the ball pretty well, and getting the big man and getting him at the high post in that foul line. That foul line extended between the foul line and the 3-point line, in that circle. I like to see him get the ball there to operate. He sees over the defense pretty well, and if he's not going to make the pass, he can make the quick shot, or he can make the drive to the hoop. I think he's deadly. I think he's deadly at the foul line, and I think that's the best place for the Knicks offense is Cat with the ball, catching it in the high post at the foul line.
I mean, I agree there, but I think running the offense through him more is probably an underutilized weapon of ours. I do think though that's going to come with time. Unfortunately, I really don't think it's going to be implemented until next year. You know what I mean?
I think
Maybe in the playoffs.
I was just about to say that when the playoffs come and you need a basket, maybe some of the hero ball will stop.
See,
But
we'll see. Habits are hard to break.
what Gilbert Arenas says, it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah,
It- it-
habits are hard to break. Well, I'm gonna jump over.
yeah, I'll be right there, son.
Yep.
Appreciate you jumping on with me. We jumping over to MVK, the usual scheduled programs. But I just wanted to jump in with you guys real quick. Shuttle, appreciate you jumping in with me as well. You know what I mean? Last minute.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is. We be back soon, but I'll be over at MBK. You jumping over there, or
I got some things to do here. I got to hit the streets tonight. you know, and you know, DJ Shuttle hard at work, you know, New York City stuff. You know what I mean? It's
Hey,
only 10:30, it's still early.
hey, we need you. We need you hard at work because you know what I mean. The staple DJs have been dropping like flies. So
Oh man,
we need people to hold that torch and carry that torch. You know what I mean. So keep doing your work. I know I ain't out there, but I hear about it. You know what I mean. So keep doing your thing out there.
facts.
Um,
We gonna have to come
appreciate
up.
you
We
as
got to come up
always.
state. We have to come up state this summer. You heard?
Hey, we'll talk about some things. We'll
All
talk
right,
about
there
some
we go.
things.
All right, your blackest time, DJ
No
Shuttle.
doubt. Appreciate you. Your
All
blackest
aboard.
time. Until next time, we out of here. Shout out to the chat. Replay game. We're going to MBK.